Hi everyone, and welcome back to another video on the Project Corner. Today is part 5 of creating a program schedule, and I'm very excited because we did all this work and now we're going to create some program reports. Now we're going to look at the default reports and we're going to create 2 new ones. Well, I already created them, but I'll show you how I did it. So let's back to our program X. Some changes have been made to the program. For instance, there is now progress and Will is doing some work on the PM. I added locations to the projects, and if we open up all these projects, we will be able to see some more information. And let's have all the schedules. And let's see, I've added more information on each of these tasks. They now have a budget KPI, they now have locations. I changed some of the locations to make the reports more accurate or more reporty. And I added some progress to some of the tasks as well. So let's close this one again because I want to show you something in regards to the level of detail that you have open in your schedule. Because the program schedule is a bit of a different kind of schedule, as you know, because it's a master schedule and it includes different files. So these files are separate entities that are only shown when you have them open. So keep that in mind for later on in this video. So looking at reports, what do we currently have? Well, there are classic reports, and you can visit them by looking into the visual reports here. But there's also the new kinds of reports, and I'm going to focus on the new kinds of reports in project because, well, they just look nicer. So let's head over to one of the dashboard overviews, and right from the start, let's go over to the Burndown. This Burndown charts are very easy to read, very easy to see. It includes remaining cumulative work. It includes remaining cumulative actual work, which is different. We'll get to that in a later video maybe. And it also shows baseline. So the baseline is lower than the blue and the orange lines. That means that there's extra work compared to the original intent baseline. So that means that there is variance somewhere, and we'll get to that in a later section of the video. And as I mentioned in one of my previous videos, you can change the time scale by going into time, edit, and changing that to month and having the counter to 1 because you want to see each month. And now the chart looks a lot easier on the eyes, and we can do that with the Burndown chart here as well. So let's have that also on to 1 month. So these look nicer. They show the same information on a higher granularity, and with the default reports you also get more information. So the Burndown chart, work, and the task Burndown chart both show some more information, and there's even a link to a web page which gives you more information about this specific item. So other than that, these are 2 charts which show you basic information. It also shows you the start date of the project as well as the end date, and this is the project, that is the program, right? So it shows you the complete program start and finish date. Next up, let's have a look at the dashboard and then a work overview. Now this report will show you much more information, so let's drill it down a bit. Right from the start, it has a work overview Burndown chart like the one previously shown, and we can change this one as well, just as easy. Let's head over to months and 1. That way this chart doesn't look as cluttered as it used to be. So again, a nice little text which you can obviously delete if you don't know, or if you don't need that information anymore. Oh, I clicked on it. So this will open up something. Oh well, we'll move away from that. And you have these texts, and you can keep them or you can just remove them any way you want. You can even change the text here to have maybe a status update for your work. What is also shown here is 3 buttons, it looks like, and it shows you work complete. Okay, we're on 25% of all the work that we needed to do. There's still 1,700 hours of work remaining, and we did 580 hours. So that's nice. And on the left, it shows you on a level 1 granularity of the WBS. It shows you project 1, project 2, project 3, 4, 5, and 6. And it shows you that project 4 actually hasn't started yet because there's no blue lines here, so there's no actual work being done on this project yet. It also shows you that there is a baseline that is being exceeded here, and we get back to that in another report. But it is also the most expensive project, probably because it has the most work. Looking a bit down is a very unreadable availability line. As long as the line is above the bottom line, there's availability left. If it's down below, such as in the case of Will, it is that there is no availability left. On the left, there's a more readable chart where it shows you all the work resources, and drill is a work resource because it uses hours as well as costs. And it shows you the amount of work that's being done by a resource, and in the blue line it shows you actual work. It's a very nice little report. Third report that I wanted to share with you is related to costs. So if we look at the cost cash flow report, it will give you a very clean overview of costs within a schedule. So right from the start, it shows you that there's $40,000 of cost variance. And we can easily see where the cost variance comes from, where you would have this table extended by a value called cost variance, for instance. So now you see that the PPM work has an over-allocation of resources and thereby an over-allocation of variance, which is a whole lot. And there's also an cost overrun in project 4. So this is a very nice, clean little report telling you more information about costs. And if you want more cost values here, you click on the table and you, for instance, would look at, well, let's say baseline costs, because I'm curious about what the original cost was of the baseline. The variance of PM work is obvious because there wasn't a baseline set originally. So there's a huge cost variance when I have a resource such as Will for the complete duration of the project for 10%. Other than that, there's not much to say about this report. You have this little text field again where you can set your status update, and it has a nice bar that shows you a quick rundown of all the costs that you're making with actual cost, baseline cost, remaining, and cost variance. Very easy to read. So on to 2 custom reports that I created for this video. It's very easy to create a new custom report where you have the option to click on new report, and you can start from a blank sheet, or you can start with a chart, a table, and a comparison. So what I'm going to show you is the 2 reports that I created. First one is location, and after that comes role. So what I'm showing you now is the program report on location. But because we had the whole program rolled up to the program project level, it doesn't show me much information about the information that is within each schedule. So let's head over to our program Gantt, And let's head over to View and then Outline. Level 3 will show us all the projects and all the content there. And let's see the difference when we look back at the Program Report 1. Here is a lot more information. So now that all those schedules are open, it will consume all that data, and it being the report, of course. So here we have more information where this is top level, so this was already there, as well as this sheet on the right. But in the middle now it shows you the budget KPI red values for each task within a project, within a location. And on the left button, it shows you the locations where work is being done, and it shows you the work that needs to be done, the remaining work, and in blue, it will show you the actual work that's being done. So in Aarhus, no work has been done yet, but in Amsterdam and Copenhagen, there's work being done. And we can enhance these reports by adding data labels, for instance. And just like that, there's more information here to consume. We can also add a trend line, or we could add maybe a chart title. And for the chart title, we could say that this is work by location. And just as easy as it is using the Excel functionality, you can add chart elements right into Microsoft Project. On the right, you see cost and actual costs, and also here I would like to have those data labels inside, and I want to have them outside end so that they're even more readable. And I'll do the same with the actual costs. So here, I would need to move a little to the right, and I'll change the data labels, and I'll show them on the outside end. And I could even change the look and feel of this chart, because I would like to have it look like this. Or because it's not very printer friendly, I would do like this. So now I have a very neat little report that I can use, and I can print this out, and I can copy this to other Word or PowerPoint or Excel applications, because these are elements that we can copy. For instance, adding it to a Word file. And here the element is still the element, and we can add changes. We can change the style of the report, making it look more in tune with the rest of the report that you're writing. I typically like this view, really do. Wow. So let's head back over to the report, and I can change values here, and I can change layout. Actually, I'm going to go with this one because I love it. All right. So let's head over to the other report that I created, which is called Program Report 2, and it's based on the role that we created. So the role and the offices is in here as a table. I actually stole these 3 buttons that we saw earlier in the work report, and I'll share with you how to do that in a minute. And here we have the different roles and the work that they're doing, and the actual costs and baseline costs. And baseline cost is empty because it looks at the program level baseline and not at the individual baseline of a project. But you can leverage this report to one of the projects, and that will be workable as well. So these 2 reports are now in the program report, the program project, and you can reuse them and add values, or and you can add different items, elements in here, as well as images, shapes, charts, tables, text boxes for textual status updates, for instance. And you can do managing the reports as well. You can rename them, you can add them to the organizer, and we'll get back to that in another video. So let's create a third program report, and I'll gather some of the values that I have in the previously shown reports. Let's do a blank sheet, and I'll call this program report 3, and I'll add it combined info. So immediately the name of the report is clear here, and I can move this aside. I can change the shape fill. I can add in a nice little green value here. I can have the outline here. I can change the color. And actually I want to have this in project green, so let's have more fill colors. 38, 112, 23, and I'll click on OK. So this is nice and project green. I can add an image. Such as the main logo of TPC. Make it a bit better formatted. And here we go. Okay, so the basics is in here. So what do we want to add? We would like to add a chart. Right from the start, it makes you aware that it has two options. You could either have a report chart on tasks or on resources. And if we click on resources, it automatically changes to the resource data, and it gives you actual work, actual remaining work, and you can switch back to tasks. But what we're going to do is we're not going to create our own reports here. We are actually going to steal some of the information that's in Burndown chart. So let's click on it. Copy. We'll go to report, and we'll go to our combined information, and here we can move this around, maybe edit the time value again to show us more meaningful information here. All right, and let's go to a resource overview, where we have a neat little table that we're going to use. There we go. So this is some nice information. I'm going to delete the start and finish because it's not interesting for resources here. I'm going to add cost. So here we see remaining work and the actual cost. Well, maybe I don't want to have costs, but I would like to have remaining costs in here. Good. I'll add a text box because we haven't done that yet. And I'll enter some values here where I say status update. I'll give some room. And that way we will have some space here to add. With that, we have a status update text field where we can add our information that we would actually like to, where we can have information shared with our management if we don't want to create a Word report based on the data that we have. which we obviously do because we have the option of copying every little report file that we have in here. So I said it again. I said it before and I'll say it again. I actually quite like this report. And let's head over to the correct report, which is report 3. And there we go. It's a bit big, so we are going to make it a little smaller. And just like that, you can go nuts. Basically, this is an Excel type of report generating because it has your files. It even has an option to customize grouping and filtering. And I did that for this demo where I had the custom group KPI and custom group location. And we could create it again where we say, okay, well, this is a group and I want to have that group on locations, for instance. And we already created this, so I won't click on apply or save, but this is the way to group on custom fields because Microsoft Project doesn't have the information on a custom field. So you need to create that grouping yourself. And I can have a custom grouping on KPI, for instance. So we know that most of the work is being done in a green section, but there's also work being done on tasks that are red. So they are red, but there's not much work. So maybe it's not critical for the project itself. So with that, this is the end of our program scheduling series. Well, not really the end because I have a couple of more ideas that I will work out in a later stage. But for now, I hope you liked what we did with program scheduling. If you did, please hit that subscribe button and click on the like button as well. And I hope to see you again in 2 weeks from now.